people don't ask the tough questions regularly enough. They're not thinking about the spaces that we're in. I always say to people when we're talking, we've been talking for, nearly an hour. Not once have we gone and thought about the quality of the air that we're breathing. We're literally hardwired not to think about this stuff. And you and me both.
I've got a HEPA filter running over here in the corner.
Listeners always comment that they can see the light slowly turning from green to yellow to red behind me, telling me that the air quality is deteriorating. So, it's a funny one. That awareness, is a big battle, and a lot of that. But even if it's not an awareness, even just at a habit level and at a culture level, just if you can move the dial a little bit, you could have a big impact.
I live in an area with good outdoor air quality most of the time, unless we're having a wildfire smoke event. But it wasn't until I lived in Denmark and got used to airing the building out a couple times a day that I realized, hey, most days, spring through fall, I can open windows in the morning and maybe I won't have to run the HVAC, and I'll have better air quality in the house. It just had never occurred to me. And this is one of those things that the subtle tyranny of technology. I read in a reference I was using in a talk on smart buildings that I think I titled, "Are We Smart Enough for Smart Buildings?" It was all technology is value laden. That somewhere in there, it may just look like a device that does something for you, but somebody's values are in there. And my example of that is the thermostat and the way we air condition houses in the U.S. Right? We have a system that controls temperature, and the way we think, when it gets warm in the summer, you close the windows and turn on the air conditioning, and that controls the temperature. You may never open them again until fall. You just don't think to do it. But I spent 6 months in a country where I didn't have any cooling. I had radiators with dials on them that didn't even have temperature numbers, and I adjusted them until we were comfortable, and we had to open windows a lot, and it completely changed my thinking about how I interacted with my HVAC at home.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I was on a podcast yesterday, and somebody was asking me, what's the one thing you've done at home that's changed, materially air quality in your own home? And again, for me, we preface this by saying we're fortunate to live in a place where outdoor air quality is generally better than indoor air quality. Opening windows, it makes a phenomenal difference to the air quality in the home. Is opening the home up to the environment once or twice a day can make an absolutely massive difference. And that's the kind of habit and culture thing that we've kind of lost. People had to control their buildings, many moons ago, and I certainly grew up with a mother that would come in my bedroom at far too early and throw the windows open whether I liked it or not in the morning. We've kind of lost that a little bit, and I think you're right. It's that kind of slow technology creep where the assumption is these spaces are going to look after us, and unfortunately with ventilation, manifestly we've failed. They don't get even close in most cases.
That's the sort of thing you could start teaching kids in elementary school. Just some basic ideas about air quality. It doesn't have to be quantitative, but just the idea that if you can let outdoor air in, that's going to make things better.